But I was actually going to do this while driving, and then I figured out this is just a terrible idea. One of the best breakup albums of all time, in my personal opinion, is Hear My Dear by Marvin Gaye. And the reason why is because it has such an interesting backstory. Marvin and his wife at the time were going through a nasty divorce that went on for months. So finally, his lawyer made a deal with the judge and her that 50% of the royalties of his next album were going to go to her to pay for alimony. Marvin was like, well, fuck. I don't want to do that. If I'm going to make an album and she's just going to get all the money, what's the point? He already hated her at that point. They just hated each other, let's be honest. He went into the studio fully intending on making just a shit record. Like just an absolute garbage pile. But then he thought in his brain. He thought for a second and was like, this could be interesting. So he made an album essentially just trashing her and the entire marriage. It's awesome. It's so good. It's really interesting because he just sort of tells the timeline of his marriage and how it just went to shit. Partially because he was cheating on her the entire time. But it's alright. It's cool. Like, it's Marvin Gaye. What can you expect?
This album is dedicated to you.
In the first song, he pretty much just lays it out. This is dedicated to you whether you like it or not. Give me my son back, essentially. Which is, a weird way to start out the album, but I love it. I love the attitude.
Ooh, I met a little girl.
The second song on the album is essentially him talking about how his marriage started, like telling the dates and like how they fell in love. And the song is called I Met a Little Girl, which is strange because I think she's like 17 years older than him. The third song on the album is called When Did You Stop Loving Me and When Did I Stop Loving You, which is a really good song. It's strange because it shows up like 3 times throughout the album, like the same song. But yeah, it's definitely Marvin Gaye at his most vulnerable.
Thing I got, it ain't classified as dope.
It's definitely a product of its time, though. Couple songs later, song before is him sort of like pouring his heart out about how he's in pain and heartbreak. And then the next song is just about him dropping acid. It's very strange. It's very disco. Oh, it's called A Funky Space Reincarnation. That's 70s. That's 70s right there. That you could tell this album was recorded for like 2 weeks straight, and he was just like so over it with his marriage and everything. Funny enough, when the album initially released, it was a complete flop. It was not marketable at all, and a lot of people just found it very like weird and off-putting. And even his wife was like, or his ex-wife, sued him for defamation, essentially. It was not good for Mr. Marvin Gaye. Now it's regarded as like one of his best albums of all time, which is cool. Good for him. So if you want just like a smooth-ass breakup album, you don't want to like listen to Drake or whatever, give it a listen. It's pretty decent.
Come on and try this new thing with me, baby.